Now, you've lived such a crazy life. Like you're traveling, you're living out your dream and all that. Did you ever think you'd be in this position when you were a kid or you were younger? Or like even, when you got that animal sponsorship and you were starting out, like, did you picture yourself at this point? Or has this been a whirlwind? Has it just been like, I can't believe I've gotten to this point? And, you know, what do you think?
Look, man, I mean, when I first got the animal sponsorship, um, I had the sense that I was onto something there. I didn't know what exactly or where it was going to take me. I mean, it wasn't even a salary, it was just some free subs. But, at the time, it felt like, wow, my life is changing. Because at that time, I had no passion for anything else besides lifting. So I didn't see where I could be in 5, 10, 20 years from now, right? Like I was actually in school for criminal justice just because of the good benefits, because of the decent salary, because my best friend who now passed, RVBTC, he, was a police officer and he would talk about the benefits and his salary and his, like the privileges that he had as um, in his position. But it wasn't what I really wanted to do. It was just something to do to pay the bills and have security. And, if I want to raise a family, I got to have like a nice job and a good retirement plan. And like, just I was on track to doing what I thought was the right thing to do, not what I wanted, what I love to do. So um, I got lucky in the sense where I met the right people. With the first of them who changed my life, John Gaglione, like that started off with training programs. And once those training programs started selling, like I quit my job as a personal trainer. I was serving tables as well. I was, working odd end job, 9 to 5, not making much money, living with my mom. And then I started selling these training programs. And from day one, I remember me like $600, like, whoa, like that's a lot of money for me, like shit, like I could, I could live off of this. And it just kept increasing and it just kept going and going and going. It was consistent. And then, I met some people in LA who taught me how to sell merchandise and, about like a membership site and this, that, and the other. And then like, it's all been meeting the right people, to be honest, that helped me get ahead. Because me as an individual, my vision has never been that great, to be honest. I never saw myself as like changing the industry or being like the best of anything. I just wanted to lift heavyweight, and like and smash some big PRs, right? I never had huge goals like this or big vision. So by just being a nice guy, being humble, I've been lucky enough to have these people in my life that help steer me in the right direction, so I can take good care of myself and the people I love.
Yeah, I feel like that's something I was saying a week ago. I'm like, it's not, we all get help in life. Like it's the people we meet, the opportunities we get presented. Like it's networking in a sense. And that's what gets us to where we are. Like we can't ever do it alone. That's what I've learned. We always have help. All these people we meet, they have an impact on our lives in some degree. And that's kind of what sets you down the right path. So it's something I try to remember because it's like you don't do this alone. You got tons of help along the way, people showing you different things. So
Exactly. Like one hand washes the other. So I always make an effort to just treat everyone equally, treat them with kindness, and hopefully one day it's returned to me.
do you think you'll ever like kind of retire, get out of the scene, like kind of, live a quiet life where you'll be like, okay, I made it. I've done everything I want to do, maybe 10 years from now and just kind of enjoy life? Or do you think you'll always kind of be in the spotlight and trying to do something? Is that what drives you?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually learning day trading, like trading, forex trading and such. I have a mentor now, and that's like step one of making my exit from the spotlight because no one can stay in the spotlight forever.
Yes.
Um, and in fitness, at least, I don't have dreams and vision of becoming like some A-list celebrity, like an actor or so on and so forth. I'm not in the place to do that anyways. I'm in Dubai. If I was in LA, that was one of my goals, was to get into acting and, follow in the footsteps of people like The Rock, for example, and, slowly make my exit from the fitness scene and go into something bigger and more lucrative. But day trading at the moment can be exactly that, where I don't have to be in the spotlight or rely on social media or smash huge PRs or, be Larry Wheels. I could completely sustain my lifestyle, if not better it, and not have to take PEDs, or put my body into this kind of stress. So that's definitely the long term goal. I'm learning. I'm in the process. My mentor, he used to be a waiter, and now he's a multimillionaire, and he's 25. So like it can 100% happen. That granted that I'm willing to, take the time to learn and practice and be smart with my money that I make from it as well. So that's like, I've been keeping quiet about it because I'm just starting my journey in it. But that is like step one into like exiting the spotlight while I'm still ahead. Cause I don't want to do this, when I'm washed up, like I'm riddled with injuries and, no one cares about Larry Wheels anymore. And then like, okay, shit, what do I do now? So like, I'm trying to be ahead of that because inevitably it's going to come. I want to make a graceful exit from the scene. You know what I mean? I may be involved some way or the other, but it won't be as an athlete, of course. Like when I'm 35, I don't want to still be trying to smash PRs in the gym, because my bike only takes so much. And I see myself living a long life and, running around with my kids, being healthy, out of a wheelchair, hopefully. So, like I have, like I'm getting older and I have to take the things more seriously. So that's where I see myself the next, few years, like exiting the spotlight gracefully, learning another craft as I'm beginning now, and being in the scene maybe as like a host or I don't know what that might be, but I'm sure I'll always be into fitness and strength sports and pizza strength. So whichever way I can be involved in it without having to be an athlete, I'll do my best to do that.
Yeah, I think this is so refreshing to hear. And like, I'm on the same page with you because I had this great fear for a long time. I'm like, if I'm not hitting PRs, am I relevant? Does anybody care? And it was a struggle I went through for years because I haven't hit PRs really since I was 26. It's been 4 years. And it's kind of funny now because I'm not really competing. I'm not on PEDs. I'm not like pushing heavy weight. And things are like taking off more than ever, not having to rely on that strength. And it's so refreshing because I thought no one would care and I would just be a nobody if I wasn't like hitting PRs and wasn't, because you know how it is. You're only as relevant as your last PRs, the latest. Like that's all people care about because there's always people who come along and improve. So I was really scared. Like if I'm not at the top of my game, what am I going to, is anyone going to care anymore? And it's been so cool to see like it's the opposite. Like you can kind of pivot and go a different direction, get out of things as far as what you have to do personally. And people are even more interested. So it's just that's been cool to see with like my channel, it's blowing up and I'm not even having to like do what I used to do and put my body through that stress because people respect you, Larry. Like you have the credibility, you've done everything. You're the most well-known guy. Like you're at the top of the game. So you won't have to rely on that for even if you didn't want to now, if you were like, I'm good. I've accomplished everything I want to do. And I know you're not there yet, but even if you were there now, you would be fine. I promise you. Like it was my biggest fear and I'm doing okay. And I think you'd be even more of an example of that. So don't feel like you have to just like do it forever and be like, oh man, otherwise I have no credibility because you have all the credibility. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And like you're a living testament to exactly what I fear as well. I fear the same thing. Like what will I do if I can't do PRs? And the people in my circle, for the most part, Adam, the man behind the camera, he sees that as like you have to hit these PRs, Larry. Like otherwise, you're going to get views or this and the other. But I'm trying to think bigger than that. I'm trying to think of like worst case scenario. But as you said, like it helps you pivot off your other skills and it forces you to come out of your shell and learn new crafts and become better at other things. Like if you're not focused on hitting PRs anymore, then you have inevitably to focus on something else, right? And that's exactly what you've done. Now your channel is growing as a result. So it's definitely motivation for me. Like seeing you here today off PEDs for nearly 2 years now. Your channel's blowing up, and you found a way to grow and sustain your lifestyle without having to do that or put your body in immense stress. And that's where I want to be, 100%.
Yeah, just don't ever feel like PRs are what like make people follow you because it's not. I realized that. I didn't know that. But I realized like the PRs, that's not why people are here watching your content or keeping up with you. So, if you ever have like a stretch where you're like, okay, I'm not doing so well or anything, you feel that pressure. I've felt that pressure where I start freaking out and I need relevant content. I need to hit PRs for Instagram. And it's just so refreshing when the realization actually hits where you're like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to be that guy. Like for you, you don't need to be Larry Wheels. You can be Larry Williams, and do you ever get burnt out on it? And like, you're like, I just want to be Larry Williams.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, to be honest, these days I've been feeling that way. And a lot of that is to do with the hunger isn't what it used to be. Like when I was living with my mom in the Bronx, in a not so safe neighborhood. I dealt with a lot of depression and anger and confusion and just not knowing where I was going to be in life or what to do for a living. Now that I have a lot of that figured out, at least with what I'm currently doing, the hunger isn't the same. So when I look at, okay, I got to take X, Y, and Z to get here to hit this next PR or to, I have to win this, that, and the other show now. After I feel like I've already done a lot in the sport of powerlifting and I've already built myself up doing PR for the last 10 years now, I'm like, like the drive isn't what it used to be, and that worries me sometimes because, you can see it in my videos now. I'm not like throwing my belt anymore or screaming after hitting lifts. I maybe it's just me maturing, but the aggression and the hunger isn't what it used to be. And it's turned into something else, it's turned into more like, how can I sustain this lifestyle and better it without doing what I've been doing, right? Because I can't keep doing the same thing forever and expect different results, right? If I keep relying on my strength and keep relying on hitting PRs, then nothing will ever change, and it's totally not sustainable. And like I'd love to be Larry Williams and keep on growing the way I am. So that's why I've taken that step to learning day trading, because it's just, look, maybe I can never figure it out and it becomes too complicated for me or I don't succeed with it, but at least I'm taking a step in the right direction, because that's the kind of skill set that I would need to keep this lifestyle, keep growing. And then, there won't be any pressure to post for sponsors, for example. I have like the post for several different sponsors now, meaning I have to make more videos than I would usually have to make, and they have to have good engagement. And there was definitely a lot of pressure, 100%, 100%. And I do feel burnt out from time to time. But with that said, this lifestyle is very rewarding. I live a life of luxury and safety, and nothing worth having is easy, right? So like I want to just find that balance where I don't have to compromise my health, but I can still live this lifestyle that I'm living and better it. That's where I'm at mentally right now.